But I mean, they said, so what do I take anything? Well, they said, well, just feel bad.
All right, you're live on YouTube.
Cousin's got it. They have to do a trach over here.
We're going to go ahead and I guess
In the book?
call to order the Jackson County Board of County Commissioners Commission, meeting for September 22nd. If you will, please stand, and Ms. Williams will say the invocation, and we'll do the pledge.
Lord, we just thank you for this evening that we can come together, God, and that these commissioners can conduct business that impact all of our lives. I do pray over each of them tonight that they would make decisions with wisdom, and that, Lord, they would look at the lives of all the citizens and make decisions that will be meaningful to all of us. And we just pray for the meeting to go well and smoothly, and for us to have a good time together. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There it goes. Is red? Oh, there he is. Thought you might have got lost.
Thank you, sir.
I guess that's it. Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so approval of the agenda, Ms. Daniels.
Yes, we have two additions. One under section 1, item Q, board adoption of a resolution of support for the transportation alternatives project related to Sanders Avenue and College Drive in Graceville. And section 4, which is to discuss a discussion regarding Endeavor site as presented by Jackson NAACP members.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Check. Is Dr. Spires online?
We don't see him just yet.
Okay. Motion carried 4-0. Okay, consent agenda items. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign, motion carried. Okay, Miss Sandy Martin.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I'd like to start with the core contract, if I may.
Okay,
I'll skip to COVID.
okay.
Is the core contract okay?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
All right, you should have before you the core contract for the 2021 fiscal year. And I wanted to let you know that no fees for clinic or environmental health have changed. We do reflect the number of $146,000 for that fiscal year coming up. And I want to let you know that that is evenly split between environmental health and the clinic. And I'm requesting for your board approval for the core contract this evening.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Lockie, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign, motion carried 4-0. Okay, Miss Sandy.
Thank you. We appreciate that. The COVID-19 update for September 22nd is the state cumulative percent positive is 13.38. Yesterday, the daily percent positive was 5.83%. For Jackson County, our percent positive cumulative is 16.67. That is climbing a bit. And yesterday, it was 8.14%. Our median age remains at 42. Jackson Hospital currently has 9 in-house with 1 on a ventilator, and our total deaths is at our total deaths at 77. We are currently monitoring 83 positive cases. And I want to let you know that testing at the Dollar General site will close this Friday at 5 p.m. That's 9/25. They've tested to date 2,738 with an average of 44 per day. They've been open 7 days a week. So since they're closing, we are going to start testing again at the health department at the front roundabout. We're going to do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 11 and evaluate demand as we go. Our current spread in the community is absolutely family, sports teams, and social gatherings. What it is not typically is work, shopping, and attending school. What we've seen through contact tracing is that we're spreading this among our family members, even in the workplace. We have we're a small community. We have a lot of workplaces where several family members work there. And so that's what we're seeing of late with spreading COVID-19. We've seen it among school children on the sports teams, but not necessarily in the classrooms. That doesn't mean that we won't go in and do contact tracing and quarantine people. We are doing that. But when we quarantine people, they are not turning up positive later unless they are associated through one of those three: family, sports teams, or social gatherings. Social distancing works, masks work. Contact tracing works as long as everybody is honest with us when we call. We all have a social responsibility, and we've got to be honest when we are talking about our close contacts, which is 6 feet for 15 minutes or more, so that we can properly isolate the right people so that we don't continue to spread the virus. That's all I have for tonight. I'm open for questions.
Ms. Sandy,
Commissioner Peacock?
what was the times on your testing out at the health department?
It's going to be Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 11, no appointment.
Thank you.
I have a follow-up.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Mr. Locke.
Sandy, but you said y'all would evaluate it. I'm assuming that means that you will expand the time if you need, from 10 to 11, maybe back to 9 to 11 like it used to be if needed?
Yes, sir, of course. We will either expand the time, or we will have more days, or perhaps both. We're trying to be very careful about how much traffic we bring in there around schools. People tend to line up early, and that's why we wanted to start it at 10, because our experience before was that people lined up very, very early before we were ready, and we don't want to get caught up in that school traffic.
Okay. Any more questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Ms. Sandy.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, next on the agenda will be Ms. Christy Andreessen.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Evening.
My first item is a request for the board chairman to approve and sign an updated version of our contract with Visit Florida for the Rebound marketing campaign. This is an in-state campaign that is going to begin in the next few weeks.
Got a motion by Commissioner Locke, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 4-0.
Thank you. The second item is a request for a public relations service contract with Laurie Rowe Communications for the fiscal year 2020 to 2021. She'll provide a custom digital press room and a travel media press room, as well as PR activities that take place year round with reporting metrics. The cost is $10,000 and will be taken from TDC digital marketing funds to promote and advertise tourism in Jackson County.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 4-0. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Okay, next would be Chief Bruner.
Yes, sir. Item F is request for board approval to purchase fire bunker gear off of contract not to exceed $40,000.
I got a question, Mr. Chairman. I'll second it, but I got a question.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock. Go ahead, Commissioner Peacock.
Chief Bruner, the information we got says gear was scheduled to be replaced following Hurricane Michael, but has been removed from FEMA or by FEMA?
It was removed by FEMA.
from their project list.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, and that's why I agreed to just fund out of District 3.
Yeah.
funds to pay
Oh,
for that.
Okay.
You're a generous man.
What can he say?
Don't let the word get out.
Okay, any more comments or questions on Chief Brenner's item? Okay, all in favor of granting the request, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0. Okay, Chief Brenner.
Yes, sir. Item G this is request for board approval and for the chairman to sign any of the documents required for the renewal of the Florida Medicaid provider agreement. This is the continuing agreement to participate in the Florida Medicaid provider program as a provider, and this renewal comes up every 5 years. It's an electronic application.
Got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Lockie.
Question real quick.
Go.
Commissioner,
Yes.
Mr. Clay, you see they need to update this on page 71.
Should have never been in there. We've already updated it.
Okay, all right, very good. I just saw that. That's fine.
That was an error on that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. It was Commissioner Peacock and then Lockie, or did I have it opposite?
Hit that.
How did you have it, Clay? Did you have it, or were you like me?
Whatever they got, what it was.
Lockie and Peacock is what I wrote down.
Lockie and Peacock, that's what. Okay. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir. Mr. Scotty Taylor.
Good evening, board members.
Evening.
Request for the board to approve for us to issue RFP for design build services for a new road and bridge building. Road and bridge building was destroyed during Hurricane Michael, and funding has been obligated for construction of new building, and the funding will be a combination of funds from FEMA and insurance proceeds. It'll be a proposed 72 square foot metal building built out with offices on the inside with approximately 1,800 to 2,000 square foot area on one end of it, so that the crews can gather out of the weather, as you know, when we meet for different things, kind of like we had before in the other building.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Hill and second by Commissioner Lockie. Any discussion?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Scotty, did you check with General Steel? Well, I just saw an ad last night for a 50 by 100 for $30,000.
Yeah, I've got some pricing from there, but with the level of the building, we in the bid, we're gonna reserve the right to purchase the metal building ourselves, and then
Okay.
just have somebody do the other part of designing that.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
any more discussion, comments? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0. Okay, Scotty, next.
Yeah, request board approval of public works project to clean existing drainage ditch between Jackson Road and Magnolia Drive outside of Jacob City in District 1. We've tried to clean the areas that we have access to. Two of the homeowners continue to have issues. Question that I can get some temporary easements to dig the ditch all the way through, and to add a little bit of dirt to build the side of the ditch up to alleviate the flooding in these citizens' yards. This has been an ongoing issue way back before my time. At most, the cost will be $2,500, and it won't take as long to do it.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Spires, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank y'all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rhett Daniels.
Good evening. Today, I have a request for board approval of proposed state revolving fund agreement for county water main extension in Indian Springs Phase 2. This document was prepared by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. I'm asking the board approve and allow chairman to sign.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Lockie, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0.
Next up is a request for board approval of the work authorization for Alday Howell Engineering to design and engineer Indian Springs Water Phase 2. Again, this was contingent upon the approval of the loan agreement, so this will allow them to begin work.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0.
And lastly, for me, is a board approval to allow me to make updates to Citizens Lodge recreational area. A couple items I'd like to improve out there is some trail paving in the non-asphalt area, redo some of the playground, put in a new border, new safety surface, and a couple of climbing features for smaller children. I'd like to put a fountain in the pond, install a leash-free dog park where folks could go out and allow, their dogs to run freely within a contained space. We'd install a 6-foot-high chain link fence, like would be vinyl coated, and we've got some features that we could put inside of that area, including old non-functional fire hydrant, benches, things like that. A permanent front stage light that we could set up and have on for special events, concerts, or whatever we might have going on out there. A 9-hole disc golf course and design, and a beach volleyball court out by the pond.
Where's the fund?
Commissioner Peacock.
Where's the money coming from?
These projects are something I've been speaking with Commissioner Lockie about, and he's agreed to fund them through his discretionary fund.
Some of them were already approved.
Some of, the rock or the trail.
You had me going there for a minute.
Use a comment with the trail paving, there was some paving that money that we used, or wanted to use that were allocated, excuse me, to, we want to do a combination of resurfacing and making new trails out
That's
there.
right.
A lot
Now
of
it's
people
from June.
use the lodge.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Lots and lots
Oh,
of
yeah.
people, not just District 3, but from all over the
No,
county come to walk and do other things out there. So Rhett and I have been talking about doing some things, to have more outdoor activities for that. And I want to ask the board for authorization to pay for these out of a combination of my discretionary free funds and my rock money.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Hill. Got a question?
No, I just wanted to add to that, if we could pursue maybe getting some lighting for the park, because a lot of times, like this time of the year, when it's dark and people can't go out and make full use of it.
The existing paved trail is lit. It's on photo cell, so it comes on in the night and runs for a couple hours and comes back on early in the morning. But that's something we'd be expanding if we were to put in like the leash-free park and a couple of these other features. We'll be able to expand on that as well.
Okay.
Brett,
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay, okay.
the lighting, Camellia Acres just put in some lights, street lights,
Mhm.
LED, and they're motion activated. And they work, they'll only come on when someone comes around, and then they stay on for an extended period of time. You may want to talk to them about putting some of those up.
All right, sure.
Solar, they'll have their solar power.
There's a lighting, you talking about lighting still?
Yeah.
Several times when we've been to conferences, there's these solar lighting, the problem we have out there is we do have lighting, but it's so spread far apart that, it's you see a light here and then you walk into some dark areas and then you see, more lights.
It's
So
dangerous.
and it is very dangerous. And if we're going to expand the trails, I would like to have authorization from the board to expend some funds out of District 3 or commit funds from District 3 to put that type of solar lighting in, and make them, get somebody to come in and look at it.
Need another motion?
I'll add it to
Well, we
my
haven't
motion.
voted on that one.
Well, just
But
include it.
do we need to include it?
If I may, bring back his estimate to the next
Yeah,
meeting and y'all do that when you have a firm number.
I just want to get Commissioner
you.
Board to, commit
You
some
said
money.
pursue it right now, right? Yeah.
Okay, let's go back and vote on the original. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Now,
That's fine, if we just give him some marching
Come
orders
back
to
next,
bring back some proposals or some ideas.
And
on
that
the
saves a
line.
lot of money on the wiring too, because when you have those businesses, you gotta run a lot of that electrical
Oh, yeah.
line, that solar cells are well worth it.
okay? Okay, thank you, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Danielle.
I'm asking the board to approve, a contract with Martha, there you go, for her services for the value adjustment board.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by,
Touch fires.
okay, got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Spires. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0.
I need the board to select 2 county commissioners to serve on the value adjustment board, with one of the 2 being elected to serve as chairman. The dates will be October 12th, which is a Monday, for the organizational meeting where they train you. And then on October 26th at 9 a.m., which is also a Monday, will be the day of hearings. So if you can't come, please don't get on the board.
Well,
I'm on the canvas, I'm on the
It's
canvas
me and
board.
you, wasn't it?
well, yeah,
Unless
we'll do
somebody
it.
else
I'll
wants
do it
to be
again.
on it.
I'll do it again.
Right now, we only have 6.
Oh, okay. We've done it, so
Yeah.
it'd be easier for us to just pick it up and do it again.
If
And
the
someone
board
trying to
wants
go
us be
learn it.
on- Do you want to be on?
No, no, go for it.
You want to be on it, Chuck? Because I'll stay
I got
on.
that caveat over here.
Who else is on?
I'm gonna be
It
there.
was me and Commissioner Peacock.
We got,
I'm still
I
breathing.
got you this like that.
Do you want to be on? Okay. Do you want to be the chairman?
You wanna be the other one?
With the-
You wanna be
Do
the
you-
other
are
person?
you
Chuck's
gonna-
gonna do it.
I'm
Chuck's gonna do
campaigning.
it. Yeah, I thought you and Commissioner Peacock, did Commissioner Peacock say he would do it?
Well,
he said he would.
Commissioner Lockie says he will do it.
Mhm.
I'll step aside because I'm campaigning.
I don't want to take that from you, Mr.
Oh, no, no,
No,
no,
he
he's
said
not
he
gonna
was
fight
gonna-
you over it.
Twist my arm.
And I asked
I'm on the
if
canvassing board, so I can't be.
Commissioner Lockie want to be chair, and
I
he
can
said
go
no,
change,
so
y'all need me to
I
do
guess
fifth chair.
I can be chair if that's the board's. Okay,
I'll make that motion.
okay, so the motion is for
We'll select you to be the chairman of the Value Adjustment Board and Commissioner
Commissioner
Lockie to
Lockie.
serve.
okay,
And
Go ahead.
Commissioner Lockie, if something happens where you don't want to do it, call me and I'll fill in for you. Thank
You
you.
want to go ahead and make him an alternate? Just to-
Please.
let's do just in case.
That's my motion.
We don't never know. Yes.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried 5-0. That's October the 12th training, October 26th,
Just
Actual meeting.
actual meet.
send me a message.
Both of them
9 a.m.?
9,
Starts at 9.
and it's right here, right? That's what it's been, yeah.
Will we do it?
Christina Williams.
Both of them are Mondays.
I guess we'll do it. I don't know how we do that with COVID. I guess we'll figure it out.
Well, we got plenty of room. I mean,
Usually just the.
how many's on the
party
board?
or attorney.
And one guy has 5 of them, so.
oh,
And don't they usually do by phone?
We'll just make sure if they're here that they sit.
just spread out, but how many's on the value, we can spread out up here, right?
Yeah.
I
think
can't
it's
remember how
like-
many there was.
They're trying to get an attorney to sit over there.
Member and then a business.
School
owner
board.
for the school board.
So they only have 5.
Charlotte Gardner normally sits on it
Yeah, well, we got, let's see. Okay, that's that.
in Enid.
That's your next.
Okay, item O is, Danielle, and that would
I'm
be the,
asking for you to appoint Mr. Enoch Williams as the citizen member of.
So moved.
Value Adjustment.
Second.
okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Spires. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign, motion carried 5-0. Okay, that was item O. Item, P would be Miss Willann Daniels.
This is a request for board approval of first place Endeavor Autism Transition Program Contract and Work Authorization Number 1. This will be funded from the job growth money that was set aside for this autism program. And this contract will carry us for 2 years, requesting for the board to approve the contract and authorize the chairman to sign.
So move.
Second, for discussion.
Okay, got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Lockie. Yes, sir.
And I may have missed out on that part, but this is just the contract, and that's, where will they be actually housed at? Out?
They won't be, these are just consultants.
These are
Okay,
consultants.
because I was asking if we're gonna do that, is the property ready for it to be occupied, and it's probably not.
No, no, it is not. But what we have to start doing is developing the curriculum and putting everything together. And these people are going to guide us through this.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so at this point in time, we don't have any county staff involved at all, just the consultants?
No, the county will be involved. Ms. Will Ann sits on the board. I sit on the board.
Is he on the board? Got fired on the board?
I
What
don't
appointed you
think
to
so.
something on
That
autism?
wasn't that something
Sure
else?
we did.
That wasn't the original. The
I don't
original,
know.
we all appointed somebody on the autism.
Board.
So this group is to help with the development of the curriculum, you say? Is that
They're
right?
developing the helping us develop a curriculum, and helping get it organized
Okay.
administratively and
Well, if
everything.
you're having that,
Okay. And then at some point in time, we'll identify a building and we'll start the recruitment process and bring.
We have
students
got
in.
the buildings are identified. They are in the process of drawing plans. Mr. Donifro's drawing up some plans to refurbish 2 of the buildings.
how many are there? How many buildings are
So,
there?
I think there's a total of like 3.
so we hadn't,
3.
sorry, have we gotten far enough along to determine, I mean, will these students be paying privately or through insurance, or have we decided anything in that regard?
We've talked a lot about a lot of different things. And my big thing to them has been from the get-go, this thing has to be sustainable. So the state is going to be involved in helping fund it. And then other people, other organizations will be contributing money to support the program. And we're also going to be going out for grants, private donations to support it. Dollar General will support it because they'll be benefiting directly, and probably some of the other corporations that will be benefiting directly will come on board as this thing evolves.
Okay.
FSU will be supplying grad students who will be working as counselors and that type stuff. They'll be coming up out of Panama City, and they have to do work, X number of hours in order to get their master's, and they'll be up here working.
So this is non-residential type program, is that right?
No, initially is non-residential. And the reason being, we do not have the residential facilities ready. We have talked about tiny houses. There's like 14 acres out there. We could set up a village of tiny houses, because one of the components of what we're trying to do is to teach these people to live alone, be responsible. They have to clean up, cook, get ready to go to work, that type stuff. And so we want them, when they go through the program, to get that experience, but we're not doing it the first probably couple of classes. We'll start out 5 or 6 people would be my guess in the first group, and then gradually expand it and expand the curriculum.
One other question, and you may not have decided this yet, but the catchment area, are you thinking Jackson, the 5 county catchment area, Jackson, Washington, Holmes?
We can't. The
Or
service
are you
area.
thinking the 5 county catchment areas like, Jackson, Washington?
Well,
Holmes?
we will initially start with just the surrounding area. At some point in the very near future, it will probably be the southeastern United States.
Probably start out with what? like
We'll probably start
the 5
Jackson,
counties?
the 5 counties around here. What will be,
Yeah, you got to reach out.
what we will try to do with the first class or 2 is non-resident, it's Yeah, non-residential. We want to get people who live in the area so that them or their parents can transport them to the facility for training. And then when it becomes becomes residential, then we'll probably start drawing from the southeast. And my understanding is there's more demand than you will ever fill out there.
Okay, and we keep referring to autism, but are we talking about autism spectrum disorder, will include Asperger's syndrome and that kind of thing?
It will. We will initially start with autism, and then it will expand into other areas of, the disabilities.
Okay.
But
I think
that,
that'll
it'll
do.
kind of morph into that as we go along. We
Broad.
just got to get our feet under us and get going.
That would give us a broader base to pull from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once it's up and running, it'll expand.
Okay, we did have a motion and a second. We have not voted. All in favor? Right? We haven't voted. Raise your right hand. Okay, motion carried 5-0.
Peacock Lockheed.
Yeah, Peacock. Okay. Item Q would be Scotty.
Yeah, this is a resolution to pledge our continued support for the city of Graceville at the Florida College Sanders Avenue Baptist College Sidewalk Project. It was designed a couple years back. Hadn't been any funding for it. DOT reached out to the city of Graceville, which they reached out to us, more or less asked will we administrate it for them if it's funded in the fiscal year 23-24, and they needed a resolution stating that we support, that the board supported it.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you. Okay, is this actually public hearing? Okay. Yeah. We'll go into the public hearing section and Miss Wendy.
I think it's actually going to be Amber.
Amber?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve their request.
Can't do it.
I'll-
We
I'll
got
do
it.
I'll
Can't do it yet.
I'll present it.
Okay.
This is a request for approval of an extension to a development agreement for Dove Rest RV and Mobile Home Park. They're adding 110 RV units and 2 mobile units to the existing site plan.
Okay, is there anyone here for or against this project? Online, I mean.
If there are any members of the public for or against this project, they may raise their hand using *9 if dialed in via telephone or the raise hand feature on Zoom on desktop. At this point, I see no hands raised.
Okay. We'll go out of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve this request.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, second by Commissioner Lockie. Go ahead, Commissioner Lockie.
What type of sign or monument is it?
We're not quite there yet,
Yeah.
but I actually requested the wrong thing. They're requesting an extension, the Dove Rest, to their development agreement for 1 year. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's wrong. I'm
I
sorry.
know what you're talking
I apologize. Membership.
I read y'all what you originally did. They're just requesting a 1-year extension to the development agreement.
Sounded good to me.
That's what we had.
Still on A?
We're on A, a
Okay.
public hearing.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good now?
Well, I just wanted to clarify for the record, what we need you to take action on is to extend it for 1 year, the
We did,
development
yeah.
agreement.
Okay.
Okay.
We got a motion by Commissioner Peacock, a second by Commissioner Lockie. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried 5-0. Okay. We'll go back into, public hearing and, I don't know if Miss Wendy or Amber's on here. Hold on. Amber is?
This is
Go ahead.
Amber.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the next one is board approval for a modification to an existing site plan for Blue Springs Solar Energy Center. The applicant's requesting to move the substation from the southwest corner to the southeast corner of the property and relocating the site entrance from Lawrence Road to Americus Road. We're asking for approval for the modification to the existing site plan for Blue Springs Solar Energy Center.
Okay, do we have anybody from the public online, for or against this item?
All right. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak for or against, they may use *9 on their phone or use raise hand feature via Zoom. We've got one hand up right now, phone number ending in 352.
Please state your name and go ahead.
Caller ending in 352, you'll have to unmute yourself on your end.
Good evening, Commissioners. It's Amy Goodwin from Gulf Power. It's good to see you. I wish I was there in person with you. I would just like you to consider our request to relocate our substation and our site entrance for the Gulf Power Blue Springs Solar Energy Center from the corner of Lawrence and Americus Road onto Americus Road. This provides us with additional optionality for our transmission line and to our point of interconnect. And it also moves the substation away from a residence, which was diagonally adjacent to the original substation location. So I'm asking for your approval this evening.
Okay, can you state your name again for the record? We missed it.
Yes, Commissioners, this is Amy Goodwin from Gulf Power.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anybody else from the public online, Fred?
I see no more hands raised.
Okay, we'll go out of the public hearing, and what's the pleasure of the board?
I move we grant the request.
Second.
Oh, I don't know which one y'all was.
Take your pick.
Got a motion by Commissioner Lockie, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. You trying to get me that?
I ain't trying, I am.
I think I got that by now, sorta. Okay, next would be community development, and I suppose Amber or Miss Wendy? Amber?
Yes,
Yeah,
this is
okay.
a request from Columbia Company Incorporated, and it's a variance to section 744041. They submitted a variant. They want to submit a variance to allow an on-premise freestanding monument sign to be placed 1 foot off of the right-of-way of Highway 71 South in unincorporated Jackson County. We're asking for a motion to deny the variance request to section 744041, the Jackson County Code of Ordinances, not allowing Anderson Columbia to place an on-premise freestanding monument sign 1 foot off of the right-of-way of 71 South.
Commissioner Lockie.
Go ahead.
You say monument, is it a request for a sign for their business, or is it,
Yes.
do they have
It is.
It's in here.
a picture, I saw that, but
No, right
picture
here.
of what it would.
There it is, right there.
1 foot off, 1 foot off the right of way or 1 foot off the road? Because one of them.
It says right of way.
It's right.
Oh,
gotta
we
be
don't have any
right away.
jurisdiction.
That's a
1
big
foot
deal.
off, well, I read it, it's 1 foot off,
The right of way.
on county right of way, off 71, off state right of way.
That's correct.
Correct.
State right of way say stops here, and they, instead of going 15 feet back, they want to put it right next,
So instead of 15 foot back?
or wherever it typically
Right.
would go.
Okay, Amber, what was the reason why the, planning commission said, not to allow? What was the reasoning?
They actually approved it last night, or recommended approval. Staff recommended denying it based off of our ordinance.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion, we approve this. I'm not so sure we even have jurisdiction when it's on
Second.
private property.
Doing signs on the ordinance, but.
I
Okay, we got a
second.
motion, we got a motion and a second to approve the request. Any more discussion?
I just want to be clear, where's the state right of way stop? The only driver, there's only one entrance into.
They got a picture of it. You see
And
that?
plus, it's a
I don't know where that,
big,
where
That big, you can't see the little
It's on
sign
page,
they've
it's on
got,
page
Yeah,
150.
it takes the.
unless you know where you're looking.
Is that near the flag is?
Let's run off the right of way, we turn in. There's a picture of it.
Okay. Over here, okay.
It's got more to do with the distance off the right of way. Is that right, Amber? Just the distance?
From their property.
Correct.
from their property
Correct.
line?
Our ordinance states that a freestanding sign can be placed 15 feet off of the right of way.
Okay. Well, I could understand that, but this situation's a little different, I think. But,
You're coming down a hill,
yeah,
I mean, it's really obscured if you move it back.
yeah, right.
Yeah, 'cause that's that line.
Oh, yeah,
If
we know.
it's in the way,
Yeah, we do.
We do know.
okay. Yeah, I saw
Okay.
that.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign, motion carried 5-0. Okay, Miss Amber, next.
This is a request to set a public hearing for a new bottling facility to be known as DDCU LLC. The proposed bottling facility will be located on the northwest corner of Highway 162 and Holy Neck Road. We're requesting approval to set a public hearing for the next Board of County Commission meeting on October the 13th, 2020 at 9:15 a.m.
Second.
Okay, got a motion. Motion by Commissioner Lockie, second by Commissioner Peacock.
Get me out of this mess.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get quicker. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. That's to set a public hearing for October 13th at 9:15. Okay? Thank you, Miss Amber. Okay, next on the agenda. Okay, this would be the discussion regarding Endeavor site as presented by Jackson County NAACP members. Okay?
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon. Please.
I am Linda Franklin, the president of the Jackson County NAACP.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Yeah.
Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak this afternoon to you in regards to the Endeavor Steering Committee and project, which is a great project for the community. And the Endeavor can become the most awesome bridge building construction for the community. But you will need the input from all areas of the community. This is what the 12 members that was presented to the board brought to the table. Great leadership has 3 important elements: responsibility, accountability, and transparency. With this being said, the diversity of the committee is one of the key elements for a steering committee, where every voice in the community is heard. And commissioners, I don't know why you feel the need to control every aspect of the project. You have a very capable administrator. Don't you trust her to gather this information, to create the list of potential members for the steering committee? The public is watching to see if you're going to bring together or divide this community. Dozier is the birthplace of Endeavor. And in doing so, we all were at the meeting when we decided that it was going to leave the negativity and bring forth the positivity. Leaving the pain and forth the joy. The community feels as though you have a knee on our neck without any accountability. I implore you to think hard about your decision. The steering committee informs the board. The board should inform the stakeholders of any plans regarding Endeavor. With that being said, I have a couple of questions. You would allow me to bring them to you to get some answers. Do you have enough money to complete the tasks that you have set to date for completion? Or do you have to go back to the state of Florida for more money? The same state of Florida that you made a commitment to be inclusive of the NAACP community and stakeholders as it relates to Endeavor Project. The next question I have for you. I would like to ask you if you have any bylaws or guidelines that governs the steering committee. And if you can, would you give me some answers to those two questions?
Want me to answer?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the answer, Ms. Franklin, regarding the money, this first exercise that'll be done is sort of determining when it gets put out to bid what the amount of money needed is. So I can't really answer that. We do have a grant currently, so I can't say for sure. So that'll be determined once it's put out to bid and what that amount comes in at. As far as the guidelines and guidelines or bylaws, I mean, frankly, this was not, I would say, that formal of a steering committee. So no, we don't have any guidelines or bylaws. The idea really was just more for input. So there is no formal bylaws or guidelines for it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing on the first question, I know that you had put together a list of projects and the timelines for them in the last meeting. So with that being said, once it's bidded out, you don't know if you have enough money to complete those said projects that you have set forth and the time frame to do so. You're just going to go as far as you can go and then see if you need to go back and get more money or whatever from the state. Is that correct, or did I not hear you correct?
Well, I think it will be the place where we can begin our planning on what we have and what we may need in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Daniels. But with that being said, you know, my concern was the steering committee, and the steering committee did not show any diversity within the community. And in order for it to work, for that project to work, to fulfill the promises that the commissioners, the stakeholders, and the community was looking for out of that project at Endeavor. To make it be the best it can be, you're going to have input from everyone. And that was my concern. Thank you for your attention and your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I totally agree with
Hold
what.
on just a second. Hold on just a second. Commissioner Lockley.
My understanding when we did the committee that we went from the 12 down to
We have five.
two.
Six.
Six. And then,
Well, you were,
and then
that's
we
a
gather
busy
more
one.
information. Then you would expand that committee if needed,
If
and
needed.
then you would add more people to the thing. Okay.
Commissioner Peacock.
Ms. Franklin,
Yes, sir.
this is Commissioner Peacock. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
You alluded to the fact that the promise was made that the NAACP would be involved in every aspect of this. Who made this promise and to whom?
It was made by the state of Florida at the stakeholders meeting.
Who from the state made that decision?
Mr. Lawson. And it was others that was at that stakeholders meeting. Your own Mr. Melvin was at that stakeholders meeting as well. So he knows about that as well.
Well, this is the first time I've heard of this, but that's why I'm asking the question.
Okay.
Was this meeting held in Marianna or in Tallahassee?
Tallahassee.
Pardon?
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee. Was it recorded?
That, I cannot answer that. Commissioner Peacock, I can't answer whether it was recorded or not, but I can get the answer to that.
And who is Mr. Lawson?
He was with the State Department in Tallahassee, the governor's office.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Franklin? Okay, I'm sorry,
That was Mr. Fudge.
Mr. Fudge, were you next?
I suppose so. I totally agree with Ms. Franklin when she asked about accountability, transparency, and equality. I am one of the survivors that was beaten and abused there. Just for the record, I do not want to offend any of y'all. It's not my intent. But I was deeply upset when Mr. Peacock wanted to take the word abused out of the September 8th meeting. I am a 73-year-old guy now. I was there when I was 12 and 13. I was the office boy to Troy Tidwell, one of the people that beat the kids. I certainly didn't like the phrase of getting out the whip. I've heard that many times while I was there at the institution. I also know that back in those days, the beatings that the white boys endured was probably no comparison to how the black boys were beaten and abused. I'm not a politician, I don't understand a lot of your jobs and all, but I don't think that it's fair that Ms. Daniels had picked out 12 people for the steering committee. That offers an awful lot. The historian Leon Kelly, he worked there for 11 years. I'm sure he has lots of things that could be said to help the steering committee. The autism expert, and I honestly think that one of the boys that was there beaten and abused, probably Captain Middleton that served in our military that was there beaten and abused, would probably be a good person to put on that steering committee. With that, I think I've said a mouthful. You know, I am in great hopes that I understand that Jackson County needs funds to keep their county growing. And I look forward to that place becoming an inspiration for Jackson County and a profitable one for y'all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fudge.
Mr. Fudge,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Peacock. When I was looking at the document that was presented to us, it said alleged abuse, allegations of abuse. This was a document, it's an internal working document that was presented to us identifying a quote steering committee. You don't need that type verbiage in a document like that. There will be, I'm sure, in the museum, references to the alleged abuse. The White House boys, I'm sure, will have a part in coming up with some sort of a display in the museum, just like every other sector of our society. But, and then you mentioned I'm the one that said crack the whip, not take up the whip. And it was simply because Ms. Andresen had came up with a very tight time schedule of getting things done. And it had no reference, and I certainly didn't mean any innuendo toward the White House boys. It's just an old cliche that my dad used when he'd tell me, get busy. You know, crack the whip, get busy. It had nothing to do with the beatings or anything else that might have occurred at Dozier.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for clarifying that statement. And
if you ever have any questions about anything I've ever said or done pertaining to this project, you feel free to give me a call, 850-209-7377, and I'll be happy to talk to you directly.
okay, Mr. Peacock, I appreciate that very much, and thank Ms. Daniels and all of you commissioners for allowing me to speak at this hearing.
Thank you.
I think we can take this project and improve Jackson County dramatically. And we'll take the old Dozier and make it into a great facility that everyone who ever went through that facility will be glad to come and look at it and see what we've changed it into.
Well, I will certainly be glad to see that. As I said, I'm an old 73-year-old guy now, and hopefully I will live to see that all reconstructed to a positive.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I get next maybe Mr. Richard Huntley. I said that right. Who's next to speak? I might be out of turn.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, state your name for the record, please.
Yes, I'm Richard Huntley from Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
I was at Dozier in 1957. I'm just coming on. The link had changed on me, so I missed half of what was going on. But I would like to add, if it have not been talked about already, I was up there 2 or 3 months ago, and I was introduced to the plan that they had. And I was unfamiliar with some things that have been going on now about some of the members had been deleted from the board on this project. I didn't understand why, and I would kind of know when I was up there, we talked about the positions. We talked about the autism school, the museum, and the convention center, but we talked about that in order. I thought that they was going to do that, which was the autism school first. Now, like I say, I just got in here. I don't know what's went on before now. And I guess I accidentally raised my hand before I could hear what was going on. And I was concerned about that. Some of the members of the committees that was eliminated from the meeting or from the committee, and I was wondering why. And is the plan going to stay the same about the autism school? To my understanding, was supposed to be the first project that they did. I don't know if that's correct, if they still have it that way, but the convention center wasn't mentioned in that order when we was up there. So like I said, I'm late coming on, and if someone care to, straighten me, I heard Mr. Fudge just now, a little bit of it anyway. So like I say, maybe I'm out of turn, maybe I'm late or whatever. If someone can kind of catch me up on what's going on, please.
Sure.
Yeah, you're fine, Miss Daniels, so catch you
Yeah,
up.
Mr. Huntley, so they're really running along parallel tracks. The autism is continuing to unfold. That's still exactly as you understand it from when you were here. And then the convention center has been something that's been talked about for, quite some time. I don't know that we really went into detail if you were here at that meeting that we met at the restaurant, but that is something that's been unfolding, and just recently had the opportunity to start getting some engineered drawings and some things moving in that direction. Since the last meeting that we met, however, it was mentioned at the last meeting, but we have gotten some more clarification that there's an opportunity to apply for the convention center to also be a shelter. So we are exploring that option. Funding for that would close on November 30th. And then the museum is also unfolding. So all of those things are unfolding, but not necessarily one before the other. It just depends on timelines with funding and that sort of thing.
Okay, so the members that that was eliminated, I see they don't have any. I see that when we was there, we talked about the NAACP. I thought they would be a part of the board, or some of the members that was from Marianna and been there all the time. So I didn't understand why anybody was eliminated. If that's, can you just talk about that a little bit, please?
Sure. So I don't really think of them necessarily being eliminated as much as, staff. It's not uncommon for staff to bring recommendations to the board. The board looks at those recommendations and they make, a motion and they vote on it accordingly. In this case, and I've explained this to all of the board members, that I take full responsibility for bringing something before them that not all of them had seen ahead of time. And so most of them thought that they were all appointing one person. They hadn't seen who else was being appointed, but they thought it was going to be a 5-member board. So it was more the element of surprise that this was a larger committee than what they really had envisioned. And so, again, I take full responsibility that was just miscommunication and not well thought through on my part. So it was not anything about any one person being eliminated. There were 7 people not included on that original steering committee, with the understanding that there may be an opportunity to add, delete, change in the future. Also, as I've had time to just reflect on it, and this is just one of those things publicly to just have to acknowledge that I really wish I had backed up and sent that through the Tourist Development Council and not directly to the Board of County Commissioners. That's where the funding is coming through anyway. And it really would have been probably more appropriate for the Tourist Development Council to have the steering committee report to them and the Tourist Development Council report to the board. That's how the structure is set up. Probably more information than you needed, but I hope that clears up any of the misunderstanding.
Yes, I do appreciate that. I came in late and that did help me out a great deal. Thank you.
Can I ask another question, commissioners?
Is that
Ms. Franklin? Yes.
Yes,
You have approved the 6 individuals. Are you going to look at diversifying that group any, or are you just going to just leave it as is, and whenever you all think that it's pertinent to add others to it? Is that how it's going to be?
Well, Ms. Franklin, I'll answer that. Can't say what the board will or won't do, but what I'm going to recommend is that we start with those 5 plus Commissioner Pate, but send that committee to the TDC where that will all be public meetings. They will be noticed. And then anyone such as yourself would be welcome to attend and to share input. There may be additional opportunities in the future to work together more closely. But let me also clarify that as far as the gym goes, I actually don't think we need a steering committee for the gym right this minute. And that's because of the timeline with the shelter and, a shelter is a shelter. I would actually like to focus the steering committee on developing a direction for the museum. And that's where I see you specifically being a key part to helping us with portions of the museum, as well as Mr. Fudge. And if I could just say, Mr. Fudge has been, and Ms. Franklin, y'all been really, really, really easy to walk through this with and to communicate with. And so I also wanted to say to Mr. Fudge, we had a wonderful meeting with the White House Boys and the NAACP about a month and a half ago. I feel like we laid a really good foundation of trust, and I intend to continue that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Daniel. I appreciate that.
Okay, Commissioner Spires.
Yes, I'd like to propose to the board, would you consider maybe authorizing the NAACP to recommend one individual to be added to the existing board? And if so, I'd like to make that in the form of a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a problem with that, but what about all the other groups that's going to be involved in the museum? I see a role for the NAACP, the White House Boys, the Farm Bureau, the Ministerial Association. There's about 40 groups here in the county that will be involved in planning the museum, different areas of the museum. If we go down that road, who else, what other group are we going to put on there?
Okay, what I like to propose is that if there's other groups that would like to have a representative appointed, that we consider that recommendation.
You'll have a bigger board than, you'll wind up with 30 or 40, because I can think of groups that need to be on there.
We have a pretty large economic development board, don't we?
Pardon?
We have a pretty large economic
We
development
do.
board. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I'm just saying, if a group expresses an intent interest in being a part of something that's within the community, and I don't see why it would be a major problem.
It's the county. It's not just the community around it. This is a county venture.
When I say community,
Okay.
I mean, and I think NAACP, people come from all over the county. Is that right, Ms. Franklin?
That's exactly right, sir.
Right. So all I'm proposing here is that at this point in time, this is the only group that has expressed an interest in having a representative for it. So I'm proposing that we honor that request, and if some other group come forward asking the same, that we consider that as well.
I would go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I don't really have an issue with that request. I think you can have a committee that can grow and grow and grow, and you'll have a lot of, in my mind, I've sat on a lot of committees. The larger the committee, the more confusion there is in a lot of issues. I would think as we start developing the Dozier property, that you can form subcommittees and appoint the various interested parties in that. So like for the museum, there's a lot more people need to be involved in the museum part of that than it would be just for the 5 or 6 board members there are.
And I'm not negating that, but I'm saying we're just not trying to begin the process. And I would like to invite as much community participation as we could possibly get. I think that's what we want as a board, don't we? We're just not beginning the process. And we would, as I said, in the future, if other people express an interest in being a part, we could add accordingly. Okay, but I'm not going to sit here and belabor the point. I would, however, like to make a motion to that effect. And if it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I move that we allow the NAACP to recommend an individual to serve on the board.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Spires. Do I hear a second? Okay, motion dies for lack of second.
Okay.
Okay,
You got one more, I think, that wants.
do we?
Leon.
No, it just says thank. Was Mr. Kelly on there to speak? Because it says thanks, Leon Kelly.
No, Mr. Kelly was not. It was just myself from the NAACP.
Okay, well, thank y'all. And, okay, what's next on? Okay, thank y'all. Okay, we'll.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move into the round table. Was right? We're through, yeah. Okay, and, Michelle, out of sight, out of mind. I couldn't think of your name. Are you online?
I'm here. I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, thank you.
I do not have anything.
Okay, Commissioner Peacock.
I have something. Joey, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Let me get swapped over.
Okay. While he's doing that, I think I want to talk about the mill pond. There is a drawdown scheduled to begin the 28th. The river, when did they cancel it?
Yes.
He canceled it today? Well, the river crested today.
We did. Yeah, but.
Well,
Okay.
all it says is it may be delayed by a few days, depending on the.
Well, all I was going to say, I want to make sure the public is aware, we're not going to draw the mill pond down if the river is too high. Now, I had a call from one of my constituents about the grass in the mill pond, and I went out and took a look at it. You see this stuff on top of the water? This is actually dead vegetative matter. Flip through the next one, Joey.
Is that there all the time? Or
No.
stirred up from the hurricane or something? I don't know.
This is a view down toward the Highway 90. Do another one. Another view of that. And that's the dam. You can see that there's very little movement of this water, and this grass is what happens. I think they got hydrilla, and I'll call it hydrilla, but I think it's coontail grass, duckweed grass, and eel grass out there. And this eel grass and other stuff is shedding. It comes to the top and it floats down, and it gets the hydrilla and the other grass, coontail, duckweeds, up so close to the surface that vegetative debris gets in there and doesn't move. And you can't go through it with a boat, forget a kayak, and it's very, very difficult to get through. But the other thing is it decays and stinks. Next one, Joey. This is just another view of another side of the pond. Next one. This is the grass, right? You can see it's right under the surface. Next one. And this, you see how it's matting up? The grass is up under it and it's catching on it. Next one. That's just some more of that. That's the eel grass there. And is that, I can't tell. Next
Looks
one.
like it might start over.
Next one. No. This is just more of it along the middle of the pond. There you see that mess. Next one. Go ahead. Next one, I think you're going backwards.
No?
Yeah, there's a piece of that wheelgrass, and you see it bumped up against that stuff. It's right on the top. Next one. Next. Next. There's one more in there. You see more of it. Keep going. I want to see the one of Blue Spring, the spring itself. There. That's what you've got just outside of our fence at Blue Springs. The other day when I was out there, you had this for about a quarter of a mile There's a break in it, and then it goes to the end, picks up about 3/4 of the way down the creek. We got a problem here. We talked to the state biologist, and they say there's no hydrilla out there, but I don't know the answer. We need to solve this problem. I hate to see this become another Lake Seminole. You know, that place is ruined. But I think Rhett and I is going to have the state biologist on the Zoom call with us for the 3rd to talk about this. There are a couple of things that can be done. There's some grass carp in there right now, but they have gotten so large that they're not eating grass. So they're talking about possibly holding a grass carp rodeo and shoot them, get them out, and restock it with smaller ones. They are proposing draw it down maybe once every 5 years, but I know we're getting ready to draw it down right now, but I seriously don't think it's going to work because I live on the old Cowpen Pond. It goes dry and there's no grass out there. Water comes up over it, and 6 months later,
Can they spray the grass?
it can be sprayed.
Because if you spray it and it goes into, I mean, don't spray it, it goes down and lays in dormancy, and then
Yeah.
water comes back, it springs back up. It looks like you would put some type of herbicide on top of it and, kill it while the water's
You
down.
could, but anyway, whether we spray this, there's a couple things you can do. Drawdowns, spray it, or mechanical. Or you may want to do a combination of all of it. But I think we need to pay attention to this. We need to get ahead of it. And whatever we need to do, we need to make sure a good portion of that mill pond stays open.
Commissioner Lockie.
Mr. Chairman, Board. I've been on board 28 years, and we've been dealing with that on and off for 28 years. We've had state biologists, we've had this room full of people, we've had the lodge full of people talking. I've heard the spraying, I've heard the mechanical, removal of it, drawdowns. Well, then when you do drawdowns, people at the pond are getting mad because you draw them. Sure, we did that.
Yeah. And
they get so mad. So, I don't know what the answer is. It's a state body of water.
It is
It's a state's responsibility, and I think they've kind of washed their hands of it for now. We just haven't had a lot of cooperation in the last few years with it, but I think the last time I personally talked to one of the biologists, they basically threw their hands up. It's beat them because the cold, the type of, how fast the water is running through there.
It don't move fast, Chuck.
It exchanges itself
It
pretty
don't
quick.
move on the
It don't
top.
move on top, but that water exchanges itself.
Down.
Commissioner Lockie, real quick, did you not inspire y'all? Did y'all ever have a comparable between that and Deer Point Lake? And I know they draw that one down, and I know they do it regularly. Has it ever
They
been-
spray it also.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar. I just know they draw it down.
But because of the time, Deer Point Lake is different from
This one.
Blue Spring. I mean, the mill pond. It's
Okay.
different.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard every explanation a state biologist can give you over the years.
Are you willing to listen to another one on the 3rd?
I don't mind if you can just get them. It's not a short-term fix, it's
No.
a long-term continuous fix. And I don't know, money has been the biggest part of that. The herbicides, sometimes it worked. The best thing that I saw that ever worked was that drawdown we had. People could go in out by their docks. They could go out there and harvest that grass or whatever they want to do. The mechanical thing came in and did some good, but that stuff is deep rooted. And you can kill it from the top, but you don't kill the root.
Mm-hmm.
And the type of chemicals that were recommended to put in there, they stayed away from. But the biggest problem was keeping the drawdown done to make the residents happy. They always got upset because it was down too long and you didn't have time to do it. And the state did make a lot of concessions. Excuse me, because the residents were upset out there, and I understand. But you if they want to come up with a plan, I don't mind listening, but they need to come up with a plan that whether we like it or not, if they think it's going to work, if it's going to be prolonged. One of it was a prolonged drawdown. But they wouldn't go for that. So, I mean, everybody, you know, you get different people on the mill pond have different ideas, whether you
I'm sure.
like it or not. They just, a lot of them don't want the drawdown. A lot of them complain about it. A lot of it don't bother them.
Do we have any jurisdiction over that at all?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. There wasn't nothing.
If we draw the water down.
We
they
actually, we manage it. It's a state, water and everything.
Water, just not in the Mill Spring pond.
Yeah.
I mean, Blue Spring, excuse me.
But what I don't want to see is exactly what happened at Lake Seminole. And if, you know, I'm willing to listen to the biologist and whoever, let's see if we can come up with and it's a long-term problem. Whether it's car drawdown, mechanical, a combination of all of it, we just need to try to get ahead of it. Otherwise, we're going to waste a very beautiful natural resource in Jackson County.
I just want to ask Commissioner Peacock, what happened to Lake Seminole? You were saying something?
Oh my God.
It's all taken over. Landed, a lot of landed.
It is horrible. You almost have to have an airboat to get around. You know, when they backed that lake out, I remember them coming around telling us, oh, it's going to be great fishing, swimming, skiing. Yeah, right. You go out there skiing now, alligator will get you. But there's nowhere to ski. It's all hydrilla and lily pads. They let it go. It's actually silting in.
Yeah, Spring Creek up there, they have a drip system that's occupied, that's managed by Anderson through 12 engineers, but that's in Georgia's side. So they have a drip system that is fed, that they can keep a lot of that up there clean. But again, it's such a large, 39,000 acres, body wide. I mean, that most of the money goes into the navigable part of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And we dealt with that with Senator Bill Nelson and his Chief of State Martin Mary Hester.
Yeah.
And then can't remember Rubio's number two. Chief of Staff. We put them on a airboat out there and did a ride of Lake Seminole. You know, but I think that dicot that they use out there is like $1,800 for a small boat. I mean, it's massive amounts of money with little results. But anyway, you're right.
I think maybe if you meet with the biologists and let them come up with their best long-term management plan. And if it requires a drawdown for 3 months or 4 months, you know, you gotta, they've been met with so much resistance from the board, some of the board members over the years, some of the residents out there where they just threw their hands up. That's basically what's happening. But it's gonna have to be a long term.
I agree. It's got to be long term, but I think this board needs to be committed to the mill pond to clean it up and keep it clean, because it would be a travesty to see that thing go the way of Lake Seminole.
And that stuff get down in Spring Creek and it'll take
It washes on down, keeps going
into the river.
That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Lockwood?
Is Scotty online?
He usually is.
Yes, sir. I'm on the line.
Yeah. Scotty, you gonna go ahead and make your presentation?
Oh.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Lockett asked me to go through the District 3 and present a list of roads for him to resurface. As I went through the roads, I came up with Carter's Mill, Woodbriar, Dogwood Drive, Old Campbellton Road, Colonial Road, Bunny Trail, the District 3 part of OUS Road, Jean Lane, Fern Lane, Ellington Lane, 5th Street, and BVS Street. The project estimate's approximately $1 million. Be out of the District 3 funds.
Was any roads in District 4?
I'm about to go out to bid to get up this.
I don't think the rest of the board could hear you because Commissioner Hill was running his mouth about something.
No, we
Yeah, District 4 needs some road work.
Just need authorization to go out.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just need authorization to place these roads out to bid.
Yeah, all that's District 3 money, no 1 cent money, no construction money, nothing.
Can we add money left over? No. Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Peacock. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. 5-0. Okay, anything else?
That's it. I think, right, Scotty?
Yes, sir.
I just
Thank
really,
you.
just really want to say as, to all of our staff, especially the ones that worked last Wednesday during this storm, that was amazing. Many of the commissioners, I know that probably y'all got phone calls, as we all did, was able to go out with my supervisor. I'm sure I know some of the other ones possibly was. Incredible amount of rain to hit down, come down. The sheriff's office was out. And you know, the road and bridge department, I know I saw fire rescue doing endless calls in water almost covering part of their wheels up. I mean, it was amazing. Just not an extended offer to them to thank them a lot. That was work, and the subsequent work that's been done since. So.
Okay. Commissioner Spires?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Okay. Ms. Tingle? Same thing that Commissioner Hill said, but, you know, Wednesday, but Road and Bridge and a lot of other people work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday. And I've had a lot of compliments. You know, roads have been messed up. Everybody understood, but they were grateful that we were out there trying to fix it at least where they could pass. And Scotty, good work, and all the Road and Bridge and everybody else.
I would like to echo what Commissioner Hill said, but I'd really like to give a shout out to Scotty and Robert Douthit, Jesus, Roger Richter, and Debbie.
Everybody.
Yeah, Debbie DeShazo. We wound up having to work until about 8:30 fixing the culvert that fell in while Jesus and I were looking at it going into Camellia Acres. So it didn't take Scotty long to get on a backhoe and get busy. But then here came Robert, and he finished it up. So they did an outstanding job, and everybody in Road and Bridge that I saw out working did an outstanding job, and I'd like to say thank you. And I think the commissioners should buy them a steak dinner.
I've already sent that text to Scotty. We need to arrange something for him.
Okay, Sheriff, Carlin, anybody? Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Okay.